Hello, this is Jay, and I will be walking you through some of the thoughts that I had on the new PloverDojo web application that's designed to help learners of stenography, of Plover specifically, how to help them learn. Let's see, well, I'll just dive in. Okay, so for whom is PloverDojo intended? Well, this is targeted toward any beginner to intermediate level of stenography. Beginner where you don't really even know the steno keyboard layout. And intermediate, I guess my definition is where you haven't really surpassed your regular QWERTY typing speed. So anywhere from beginner to intermediate. And the goal, it's for people who have the goal of being able to write prose, okay, or other daily life English. And then it's for people who are okay with StenEd, with the dictionary that comes with Plover. Also, PloverDojo is intended for those who are using a desktop computer or a keyboard with NKRO, right? So if they hook it up to a laptop, then that's fine too. But it's generally for people who are sitting down and have a tiny bit of time to learn. And it's for those who are using a QWERTY keyboard rather than those with a stenotype machine. And the browsers that we will support are Chrome or Firefox for now, just because don't have time to test all those other ones. So that's what we'll kind of insist on using for now. Okay, so before I get to the prototype of PloverDojo, first I want to explain some of the design philosophies of PloverDojo. Okay. So the first is that PloverDojo should be exploratory, or in other words, it should be like a choose-your-own-adventure. So it should allow for the learner to click around and just to see what happens. It should allow the learner to kind of learn by discovery and by inference, rather being told everything. And also, I'm hoping that the learner can leverage a bit of curiosity to drive them toward learning about the keyboard layout and about what words that are able to be typed. Second is that PloverDojo should recognize that each learner is unique, and it should customize the experience. So we would store a learner profile, and then the system should know where the learner has been and where the learner should go next. And it should allow learners to resume progress very easily. They should be able to just log back in and continue kind of where they left off. Next is the learner that PloverDojo should be able to know exactly where they are in the process of mastery. And the premise is that knowing progress is motivating, and we'll try to provide many visual indicators of both short-term and long-term progress. And then finally, PloverDojo should be meaningful in that the time spent learning should quickly map to the real world. Okay, so in PloverDojo we'll focus the learner on the most common English words. And it's hoped that by learning the most common, they can be able to type real stuff, okay, real English, daily life use English, and learn kind of those words and be able to just move on, to just leave PloverDojo. Okay, so that's the whole goal, is that they learn like a certain number of words. Okay, so the prototype, how would this work? And before I start, let me just tell you that I'm going to share this exact Google presentation with you all. Okay, so that will mean a couple things. It might mean that the slides might be a little bit different than what you see here in this presentation, but it also means that you are very welcome to make any sort of comments. Okay, if you just go comment, and you can type in whatever you think. If it looks like it's working, or it doesn't work, or it needs some improvement, or you have a question about a certain thing, or if a part wasn't clear, then go ahead and leave a comment at whatever control is confusing or that you wish to address. Okay, so when the user or when the learner first encounters the site, they will see this home screen. And again, because this is a prototype, you see that everything here is very basic styles, and what that means is I welcome your feedback. Okay, anything can, I'm open to massive changes right now. Okay, so anyway, here is the home screen. Okay, where there's some questions that that can be answered here. There's just like a little bit of content, but they can scroll down here and read all that if they want, or they can just click on this button, let's get started. And by the way, this is how you click on a button, is you just click and then you have to kind of click again, and it'll take you to the next slide. Okay, so once they hit let's get started, then they're brought to the dashboard, which they'll find out here from this text. They'll find out that it's a place to explore, to check progress, to decide on where to go next. Okay, and so here are some of the bubbles that kind of pop up the first time they visit the dashboard, just to give them kind of an orientation. And then over here they find out that here are the 3,000, or however many we end up putting in there. Here are the 3,000 most common words of the English language. Learn these and you graduate from PloverDojo. So again, like, we want them to master this and then move on. Okay, and then over here it just kind of explains how they can use this little steno keyboard to filter the words over here on the right. Okay, and so they're like, okay, so that's cool. And so to acknowledge this tiny orientation, they click that, and now those things are removed and they're kind of on their own. Okay, so they can do a number of things at this point. First is they can hover over any of these words here and see exactly what are the briefs and the strokes that are used to type these words. So they can kind of explore this way. Okay, and then the second is they can, so here are all 3,000 words, but what if they want to filter just by keys? Okay, so I mean, the learner, if they're new, they might not even know what that would mean, right? And so there's a suggestive filter over here. And when they click that, it'll just kind of look at some basic keys. Okay, for example, from this first one, they can kind of get to know the vowels. Alright, so the words here will be filtered so that just the words that can be typed with these keys will be put in there. Okay, and once they decide to go there, they can hit practice these words, and then we'll see later on how the key, or the words that appear will kind of it'll kind of give the learner a chance to just kind of see how steno works. Okay, so we'll get to that in a little bit. I know it's a little bit vague at this point, but here are the vowels, and then here is, for example, the P and the W. which together they make the B sound, and then the P and the B over here that make the N sound, etc. So they can choose this configuration or a number of them, okay? So the system will provide these, and how does it choose these? Well, it looks at the words that have not been mastered and will choose the key configurations that will result in the learning of the most common words. Okay, so the system will kind of coach them and suggest some key layouts for them to try out. So that's if they don't have any idea of where to go. But let's say they do. Okay, so here we go. Let's say they do. And so they can go and edit this, and well, actually they should be able to just directly click on these keys, and what should happen is they can decide for themselves what keys to press. So for example, if the learner, well, this is actually my own example, my personal example, is I get the K and the W mixed up a lot. I'm not sure why, but it just happens that way, okay? And so I would just like to focus on just these words. So what I do is I click on the K and the W and then add in a couple of vowels. What I get is over here, the list of words are filtered so that you see it's all kind of the K and the W words, right? And also, because K and W make the Q or the Q sound, some of these Q words are also thrown into the mix. And once I see that, I can, once I like this list, then I can move on to practice these words. Okay, so when I advance there, then I'm brought over to this practice zone, where up to 20, or we'll decide however many. We just pick a couple of words from this list over here. Okay, we pick, like, say, the most common ones, 20 of the most common ones, and throw them in here. And then we start walking the learner through just these words. Okay, so here the learner is instructed to type quick, right? And they're given a little hint. And I'm kind of hoping, and again, you can comment, and I'd like to get your opinion on this, is I'm hoping that they should be able to look over here, and as they hit the keys, these keys here will light up. Okay, as they're hitting the keys on the keyboard, these will light up, and it's kind of hard to, well, actually, I do have a little prototype of that here. As you can see, okay, so I'm hitting the K and the W together, right? And over here is the S and the D keys, right? So as I'm holding these down, then these keys will light up, right? So I type quick like that, and there you go. There's kind of the feedback that I get. All right. Okay, so that was kind of serendipitous that I already had that up. But anyway, I'm hoping that through this hint, they're able to kind of figure out what to type over here. And as they kind of explore a little bit, right, here they are just kind of like orientating themselves, and they eventually figure out that, oh, okay, this is quick. Okay, so once they figure that out, then this is kind of where the exploration kicks in, right? It's where they realize that, the EU keys are used to input the I sound of quick. Okay, and also over here there's a coach, just kind of explaining some of the things that they might not know intuitively. For example, to hit both the E and the U keys, together at the same time with the same finger, with the right thumb. Okay, so this will be kind of the coach. And also they have the option of hiding the hints over here if they want to. So let's go to another example. Go to way, right? And let's say that they actually go in and type it in correctly, and they get this validation. And then what will happen is these words up here will light up if they can respond to this prompt in a timely fashion. Okay, so we'll set a timer in there that's like maybe 2 seconds. If they can consistently hit these keys when they see this word in 2 seconds, then eventually this word will light up. Okay, and then eventually they'll get all 20 words to light up, and then that's kind of when they're done with this particular session. Okay, and it of course tells them about the proficiency that they gained from just hitting these. And it probably won't be 3%, maybe maybe a little less than 3% of the 3,000 words that they have to learn. But you kind of get the picture. There will be a little bit of, it'll kind of report back on how far they got. Then from here they can keep learning more, which will then take them to a new list of 20 words, but using the same keys. Okay, but they can kind of go through these, and then it will again report back on how much they gained as a result of that. Okay, so they can repeat that as many times as they would like, or they can just go to the dashboard, which will take them back here. And here we notice that the overall mastery has been bumped up by 3%. And then from here they can either change the filter, or actually as they progress, I would imagine, and again you can give me your feedback on this. I'd be curious to hear what you have to say on this. But eventually, as they kind of explore a lot of different filters, they get to a point where they kind of know the steno keyboard layout. Okay, they kind of get to know this already, and what they can do at that point is just have a clear filter. Okay, so here their mastery is kind of higher up, okay, because they've kind of gone through a lot of the filters. And then over here there will just be a little message just saying, oh, it looks like you've tried out all these filters. Now just try, we suggest that you practice without any filter, just to see which words are new to you. And then at that point, when they hit practice these words, then the words that they haven't mastered, it'll just kind of go through just that list. Okay, and they kind of repeat this process without any filter. They keep on repeating that until they've mastered all of the words in here. And again, I don't know if we want 3,000 or 4,000 or however many, but they keep on repeating that until they know all these words, until finally they get to 100%, where it just congratulates them and tells them that they've graduated. And then I guess importantly, to invite them to get out of here, to move on with some other things. It could be speed drills or some other resources to help them build speed. But yeah, so there will be a page just to help them know where to go from here. And PloverDojo will pretty much be, I don't know, they graduate. They don't really need to come back. From there they can just build speed. Okay, so there is kind of the prototype in a nutshell, and again, once you click back here again, I'll give you the link, but if you click back here again, you might notice that some things have already changed from what you saw here in the video. But I do invite you to comment here. I'd like to know what your feedback is, and I just appreciate your time, and thank you for this. And I hope that it's something that you would find useful. Please let me know via comment or email or whatever else what you think of it. I like to get to know both the good and the bad.